Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Knattersknits podcast. This is episode 2. My name's Natalie and I'm going to be your host today. You'll find me all over the internet on Ravelry, Instagram, Twitter as Knattersknits. Thank you for coming back if you have come back to see me for a second time. And welcome to all those who are watching me for the first time. Pull up a drink. Today, in my nursing mug, because I used to be a nurse, I've got hot blackcurrant. Because as you can probably tell, my throat's a little bit on the wonky side again. So pull up your drink and come and sit with me for half an hour or so and just find out exactly what I've been up to in the last week. Put that down so I don't dye everything a bright red colour. Right, so this week, it's been a bit of an up and down sort of week. I've done a little bit of knitting, a fair amount of spinning, but mainly a lot of sleeping because I've been absolutely shattered thanks to work. On Friday we held a 1940s day for our residents at the residential home so that they could remember 100 years of the WI. So we had jam and Jerusalem and scones, and we also did a little bit of fundraising for a little boy who lives locally called Wilf, who's got severe eczema and is wanting to go off to France to get some treatment. So we did a little fundraiser for that. So it has been a bit busy, and on Thursday I had a spinning night where friends of mine, anybody in fact who wants to, can just drop in into my house and come spin with us. So we did a little bit of that as well. So I've been on a bit of a spinning mojo. So what else have I been up to? Well, I've got 2 more finished objects. Number 1 and number 2. Yes, I know they look the same. Just to prove that there are 2, I'll put 2 there together. I don't know if you can see them. The green is a lot brighter than it's given it credit for there. Very much brighter, in fact. But they're to go towards my blanket. So that's those 2. They're the only finished items I've got this week as far as knitting goes. My spinning, I've got this. It's 100 grams and it's 75% blue face Leicester and 25% nettle. And it's really, really soft. This is the first time I've ever spun with nettle. And I really quite like this. So if anybody's interested in having this one, the price will be £10. And put a custom order in on Etsy for it and you can have it. If not, it's going to go to Yarndale. So in great tradition of things British, Yarndale is the 26th and 27th of September. And in preparation for that, I've been dyeing. A bit bright, but I've done quite a few of these different balls. They're 200 grams. They are super, super chunky. As you can see, they're not a solid, they are definitely a semi-solid. But to go with these, I've actually designed a pattern. And the pattern is this. Worn it that way, it's that. It's a cowl, which you can put on in a multitude of ways. You can wear it round your head, really high and chunky. You can pull it down so that it becomes a small shoulder shrug type thing with a nice little collar like that. And that's all out of just one ball. So that's my sample pattern. I'm going to write the pattern up and I'm going to have it ready for Yarndale. So if you buy a ball of that wool, I've got blues, purples, yellows, pinks, all sorts of different colours, and you'll be able to knit up one of these quite easily, and it doesn't take very long at all. It knits up really, really quickly. I haven't got a name for it yet, so the competition this week, I'm going to offer you a skein of my hand spun. I'd like you to name this cowl. The colourway is rose. It's got drop stitches, and what I'll do is I will offer as a prize this skein of jade green. It's 100% wool, it's Corriedale, it's not superwash, it's 100% wool, and I'll make that as the prize. Again, it's a bit dark there. I wonder if it's better under the light. No, not really. So that's a prize for somebody to name my new shawlette for me. So if you go into the Knattersknits page on Ravelry, and I'll set up a thread there for naming the shawl, and I think I won't do it randomly. I will actually do the one that I like the best. So go and put your entry in there, and I will draw it ready for next week's podcast, and you could be the lucky recipient of this lovely, really soft and squishy yarn. Okay. So, more dyeing. I've done some baby blue. Again, it's more of a variegated blue, semi-solid rather than solid. This one's 4-ply, it's 100 grams. I've called it Shades of the Sea. And it's machine spun, but hand dyed. So that's that one. There's going to be quite a few of those at Yarnbell. Then there's this one, which I love, absolutely love. And this one I've called Misty Pink. Very speckled. And there's about 4 skeins of this. They're 50 grams each and they're 4-ply. So that will be at Yarndale. Then hold your colour. I'm warning you now, this is very bright. There we go. That's a skein. Again, 50 grams of 4-ply. Solid pink or semi-solid. There are some textures of colour in there. And to complement it, I've done this one, which is the same pink but in a gradient. So it goes from dark to light. And as you can see, the gradient on that one, it goes very light pinks, baby pinks to white. So it's going to be a couple of skeins of those as well on my store at Yarndale. And I've been knitting. I got to the stage, excuse me, where it's beginning to get a little bit on the autumny side here, and my feet are getting cold and I'm getting miserable, and I'm very miserable when my feet are cold. And I went to get my socks out. My favourite knitted socks are a pair that I made, how long ago was it now? Must have been a couple of years ago, I think. They're bright red, made out of German wool. Oh, they are so gorgeous. The only problem is they've lost their elasticity, which I suppose comes with wearing. But now it's a case of if I walk around the house in them, I take my foot off the floor and the sock flies off. And it's not pleasant to chase your socks all over the floor. So, do you remember last week I was talking about the yarn from Sarah's Texture Crafts? I had the one skein and I wasn't sure what to do. Well, I've started a sock and I've got so far. I only wear ankle socks, fortunately for me, so they do go quite a bit quicker. And this is the abalone colourway done by Sarah, and it's a 4-ply. And I'm trying a new heel for me. It's still a flap, but can you see down the middle there? It's actually, I don't know how easy it is to show you that. There we go. It's just a decrease right down the centre. Instead of doing much more of a shaped heel, this is just decreased straight down the centre of the heel flap, which makes it quite a rounded heel. But I quite like it. I'm knitting on carbons. These are 2mm ones. Now I usually use 2.5mm ones, but I've noticed that my knitting needs to be a bit tighter really, just to make the socks last a bit longer, because they aren't lasting as long as they ought to do. And they're getting very, very slouchy very quickly. So I'm using my 2mm carbons, a couple of little stitch markers, or as Dave from Dramatic Knits calls them, dicky-doos. So that's those. And this is the ball. I wound it into a ball just because I find it easier, but I do love all the different colours in there. Right, so for some reason I've got a reflection on my screen. I don't know if you can see it just there, which is very disconcerting, but never mind. So that's that. I'm keeping that in this bag. Now this is a crocheted bag. I don't crochet. Made for me by my friend Kate. She's put a lovely little flower on here with a bead in the centre. And it's just right for putting over your arm and knitting on the fly. So I really like that. So that's what I've been doing with the old knitting this week. And because I'm working full time, it's very difficult for me to actually get a lot of knitting finished. And I do wish I'd crack on with my cardigan because it is getting cold now. But the other thing I've been doing is some spinning. I've shown you the Rami, the nettle. And that was some fibre I got from World of Wool that I'd wanted to try for a while, so I made up my own blend. But I've also belonged to a Spinners, Weavers and Dyers Guild called Heddles and Treadles. And the challenge for this year, they do an annual challenge. The challenge for this year is they've given us 3 lots of fibre in little bags this size. So as you can see, Dorset horn was one of the types of fibre that they gave us. And this is how that's come out. It's a Dorset horn. Now the challenge isn't just to spin it. I'm also spinning this, which is called Cheviot Lane. So I think that's a cross, which is very, very fluffy and light, and this one's got a little bit of lanolin still left in, so it makes it quite springy. And spinning with it, sometimes you feel like you're pulling chewing gum, but it's very, very nice. So I'm on this one now, and then the other one they gave us was this one here. Now the challenge isn't just to spin them, but it's also to make something out of them and to show off what you've made. So, there's a little bit of cuts there. Now, anybody tell me what that is? It's Wensleydale. And it's as girly can be. And the thing that I automatically think of when I see locks like this is you're going to tangle on my drum carder, but also that would make wonderful hair. So, I'm thinking about knitting a doll. Making the body out of one fibre, the hair out of another, and just fixing that in as I sew up the doll. And then out of the other, which is the one I'm spinning now, making some little clothes to go with it and to dress the doll. I'm not sure. What do you think? Is there anything else I could do with 3 different sorts of fibre? Bearing in mind that one of them is this. I think I might dye these because there's a lot of lanolin, and I don't know if you can see there the yellowness that is on one end and the whiteness on the other. See how yellow it is there. No, it's not showing up really well, but it is an awful lot more yellow there. That probably shows it better. So I can't make up my mind what to do. I'm thinking a doll so far, but I'm also looking for patterns. So if any of you've got any suggestions, I'd be really grateful for that. So this has been a really quick episode, really. It's sorry about the crinkling. It's all about little bits of things that I've been doing this week in readiness for Yarndale. The other thing I have been doing is actually clearing out my study. It's a tiny little room, that's the one I'm sat in now. It doesn't go much further than the door that's just here. And I'm glad it's pointing down because you can't actually see the whole floor is covered in fleece. I've also got baskets full of yarn, books, I've never seen so many knitting books in one place actually. I've just suddenly realised how many I've got. Yeah, perhaps I better stop buying books for a while. So that's that really. I'll just get the drink again, excuse me. So what am I going to do for Yarndale to make my stall different? I've got to think about that one. So Yarndale's on the Saturday and the Sunday in Skipton. As I said last week, a wonderful event. I really enjoyed it the last couple of years, and I'm looking forward to it again. I think I've got the exact same spot, stall number 168. So I'd love it if you come along and see me. You don't necessarily have to buy if there's nothing you like, but I'd love to see people who've actually been and watched the podcast. And I know there's at least 18 of you, because I've seen there's 18 views so far. Do tell your friends I'm here. I try not to be really, really long in my podcast, because I realise that it's a long time to take out of your day, and it does take it out of mine as well as planning what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. So pop on by, come and see me, and I really look forward to, in a couple of weeks' time, being able to show you what Yarndale was actually like, what it was about, and hopefully have some video of some of the fantastic stalls that were there as well. I realise that this is only about 15-16 minutes long, but I haven't got much more to show you, and rather than waffle on and on, I'll make it short and sweet. Thanks for joining me, thanks for dropping in with your drink, and I shall see you next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.